the voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is Pro Football Sweden. Welcome to season two, talking football in Sweden. And feel free to comment and send messages about how we're doing. Today, it's going to be a little different. Me and Juice had to record separately, so I'll just be saying over to Juice after each segment so he can do his. They'll put it together, and then we'll give y'all a full episode. But let's get into it here in a second. We're currently still looking for sponsors, donations, and staff to help keep this podcast going throughout the entire season. Please send all inquiries to profootballsweden@gmail.com or hit the Instagram DMs if you can. The PFS podcast is available everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can see us visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Now, let's get into some football. All right, first quarter, let's talk about energy from last week's games. What was negative, what was positive. I think I'll do both of mine and then let Juice do his part. First, let's get into the negative. I'm gonna keep it brief today. I think I'm not gonna go as hard in on outside stuff. The negative from this weekend was that AIK lost to Tiraso. As you can see, I'm supporting the team, but this game, AIK was a better team. They should have won the game. They ended up losing the game, and I think the negative part about it is that it's bad for the league because we already had another shakeup on the other side. But if AIK would have beat Tiraso, everybody would be like, what is going on? Like, anybody can win it. Anybody can do it. But it came down to one of those situations where AIK played better than Tiraso, but they made a lot of mistakes when it counted, including missing that extra point, which, in my opinion, I don't really care that they missed that extra point because they had plenty of opportunities to put points on the board in other ways, and they just never did. Every time they had an opportunity to put this game where they were the team ahead, they didn't do it. I really felt like they got little brother because there was just so many situations. First of all, Max Lambert played really well in this game, except for when he didn't. There was a few plays that just didn't go his way, the pick six, the fumble backwards, and those situations changed the game. It gave Tiraso life. One, it gave him points, the only point they scored in the game. And then the other play, it changed where they were in the field, and it made it easier for Tiraso to get down the field, made it harder for AIK to score, stuff like that. That's why they lost this game. Very little things. AIK can look at this game, watch the film, and say, we fix this, we win. While Tiraso, on the other hand, can look at the film and say, we got to get better. And I think if AIK had won that game, then Tiraso learned their lesson about being a streaky team that has to rely on their talent to win out at some point. Think about it. If number 14, I cannot say your name, Demvoidas, DK, can I call you DK? I'm going to call him DK. He's obviously one of the best DBs in the league. He's shown it time and time again. His pick six is the reason they won the game. He's a great, talented DB, but you can't constantly use that to win. And this was going to be a perfect example of you can't just rely on your talent. The offense didn't even score in the game, and they still won, mostly because of the talent from DK. So that's something that I think Tiraso needs to learn. And I think if AIK had won this game, they would have learned their lesson. But instead, they win a close one. And it's football. So a win is a win. No one cares about the score once tomorrow's there. But AIK missed out on an opportunity. So flipping on the other side, the positive of this week would be Orebrew beating Carlstadt. I think it's really good for the league to have it mixed up like that. Nobody's going to be undefeated this year. We don't know who's the number one team technically. Obviously, the standings say that there's 4 teams tied, or So there's one team that's 4-1, and then three teams that are 3-1. So basically, four teams tied first place right now, and that's cool because those four teams is who we thought were going to be the top four teams, but now we just don't know where they're gonna be. I think Kronstadt losing this game was an eye opener for them. But just to go more into the game a little bit, it was not a close game, but it also wasn't indicative of the Kronstadt Crusaders. That's why I think it was a good game. Want to shout out to Thick Vic. He looked really good for OBK, but the game was over pretty much at halftime. There was two turnovers by the Crusaders on their own side of the football field that resulted in them being down 14-0. Then they threw a pick, but OBK didn't score. And then they had another turnover, their fourth turnover, which was an interception when they were about to score. And that ended up being more points for OBK. So instead of them being down 14-7, it became 21-0 at half. And after that, I turned the TV off because down by 3 touchdowns, I don't watch, which I was right not to. They won 42-14. But pretty much this was one of those games where Crusaders had a lot of at their own fault turnovers, but Orebrew capitalized on all those turnovers and basically dominated the game. I like to say Orebrew dominated the game and put belt to ass. That's how it went down. But it was a positive for the league because it's good to have the mix up. So that's my negatives and my positives. I guess now I'll turn it over to Juice. We're back with the second quarter presented by Ballers International. This is where we name a couple of top performers from the weekend. I'll start off with my guys. There was only one game that had stats, and that was the Karlstad and the Orebrew game. And none of my top performers are from that game. I'm pretty sure Juice will have guys from that game, so I'll let him do that on his side. But I'm just going to name guys that look like they played good. If their stats match it, I don't know. Y'all have to show me later because obviously we can't get stats early around here. We get stats Friday when the games are on Saturday, so that is what it is. But first guy I want to talk about, quarterback from K-Town Predators, Miles Richardson. He might be the best quarterback in the league because the way he was playing was ridiculous. He was able to use his legs to kind of give them a running game, but he also was able to make plays with his arm because he's a great quarterback and just a great talent out there. And it was really good to see him like explode on the scene in this game. I know it was hard with the rain. There's a lot of interceptions as well and stuff like that, but he played really good and it was really impressive. I think I've seen him play a couple times before, and I really put a lot of credit to the receivers when Miles Richardson might be the catalyst that makes this offense go because I think they're averaging something around like 30, 40 points a game. So that's really good on him. He did really well in this game. Next guy, it's going to be a harder name to say. Another K-Town Predator, defensive lineman, Aladdin Azimi. Played really good on the end. I know him as number 18. All I know is he was putting pressure on the quarterback the entire game, helping in the run game. And at one point, Copenhagen had to give their tight end to like help out on his side because that tackle couldn't handle him. And he was just giving them the business all game. I don't know if he had like a ton of stats or like sacks or tackles or whatever, but I know that he affected the game and he forced Copenhagen to do tight end sets because that was the only way they could try to run. It was the only way they could try to pass the ball because if they didn't have a tight end over there double teaming on number 18, nothing was happening. Another guy from the same game that really stood out to me was Copenhagen's running back, number 22, Matthias Mazzanti. Or Mazzanti. I don't know how to say that last name. And before I say what he did so well, is Victor his brother? Victor and Matthias. Because number 23 is Victor, number 22 is Matthias. Both of them players that stand out to me already. So someone let me know if those two guys are like brothers, cousins, related. I don't know. They have the same last name, so I assume the numbers are close as well. But back to Matthias, he looked really good. I know the rain was there and it had some effect on things, but he ran really hard early in the game, where it looked like they were just chugging along, trying to stay in the game. And then later on, he actually ripped off some longer runs, showed that he has the speed to be one of the top running backs in the league. Obviously, the game didn't go the way they wanted to, and eventually they had to kind of abandon the run as they were trying to stay in the game. But he played really well from what I saw. Another guy that stood out to me, let's go to the AIK team, defensive back number 11, Asil Arisavaskin. I can't say the name, I'm sorry. But Asil looked really good, made a couple of plays, real timely plays. And actually, the whole secondary for AIK played really well in this game for me. But Asil really stood out. I don't know his stats, but I saw that he had at least one interception and at least one PBU. Don't know what his stats were, but he played really well in this game. Last guy I'm throw out there, Tiraso, defensive back number 14, DK. Talked about him earlier. Had pick six, had another interception late in the game to kind of steal it. I think that was him that got the interception at the end of the game. He's just standing taller and above the rest of the DBs in the league right now. Outside of a couple of guys that are kind of doing shutdown work without the stats, he's making game impacts from the defensive back position. Like, he's changing the game, he's creating turnovers, and he's flying to the ball. And in this game, he did just that. His play alone was the difference in the score. You know, like, he scored the only touchdown in the game, being able to get that interception in the red zone like that, and then ended the game. So kind of did it on both sides of the game, even though he only plays defense or only played defense in this game. I don't know. Maybe he's a receiver. Who knows? But anyways, those are my top performers. And now we'll send it back over to Juice. All right, third quarter, keys to victory. Super Serien teams are back in action this weekend with the Karlstad Crusaders versus the Oslo Vikings, the Limham Griffins versus the Copenhagen Towers, and the Stockholm Mean Machines versus AIK. Now, I guess I have to go into each team and talk about, what am I talking about? Keys to victory. So I'll start off with the Karlstad versus Oslo game. For Karlstad, it's very simple. Take care of the football. That really was the only issue they had against Orebro last week. And outside of that, I really don't see any flaws in their game besides the fact that you don't want to get behind, like that situation against anybody, because it changes how you play the game. If this team can take care of the ball and play football the way that they normally do, obviously they'll be fine. Any problems, I think, take care of the Vikings. But to go, devil's advocate, Oslo Vikings, their best chance to win this game, or at least keep it close, is put the Crusaders in unfamiliar conditions. Put them in situations that they're not accustomed to being in. Just like when they played against Orebro last week, they weren't accustomed to being, down early, having a lot of turnovers, not being able to score at will. Put them in situations where they don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how you do it. Maybe it's some type of play calling. Maybe it's wearing a different uniform. Maybe it's changing people's numbers. I don't know. Do something different that they can't expect and that they can't have already planned for, and it could work out for you. I'm not saying it will, but it could. So something is better than nothing. All right, so next game is Limham Griffins versus Copenhagen Towers. Let's go Griffins first. I love that this is purple versus purple, and they're both like purple white versus purple white. One team has purple helmets, one team has white helmets. It's gonna be hard to tell who's on teams. I think Griffins are home. I don't think Copenhagen has an all white uni, or do they have all white? Well, maybe they do. If they have an all-white uni, maybe it won't be so hard. But Copenhagen usually has a little more purple on their pants, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, let me talk about what the Griffins need to do to win the game. They need to force the Towers to become one-dimensional. They need to deny the running game. The brother, or not brother, Matthias Manzani, They need to stop him. They need to make him null and void. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Towers quarterback was injured last week, so he might not even be there. And if that's the case, they have to run the ball. You don't want them to run the ball, Griffins. If the Griffins can stop them and make them throw the ball consistently, they have a better chance of upsetting this team or beating them. I don't know what the upset would be, but they have a better chance of beating this team in this game. On the other side, from the Towers, they got to take more chances on both sides of the ball when it comes to making their play calls. I think they could be more aggressive with their blitz packaging on defense, and then offensively mix it up with some, I wouldn't say trick plays, but well-designed plays that are timely. Maybe a little bit more screen game, maybe some more double routes. Is that what they call them? I mean, double moves in your routes. I don't know. I think that they've been playing very vanilla. When they play so vanilla, the talent of some of these Swedish players, it shows it's a little bit higher than these Danish guys. Not to say that they're better, but they have a little bit more talent in some of these positions so far. So to combat the talent, just mix it up. Do something different. Do something where the talent doesn't have an effect that it does where in the third and fourth quarter of these games, you guys are just getting, ran out of there because you just can't keep holding tight. If you do something like that, take chances early in this game, get ahead, make the Griffins work for it. I think the Towers can come away with the win. And now we'll go back to Juice. Last game of the weekend, Stockholm Mean Machine versus AIK. Let's talk about Stockholm first. It's very simple. Let him cook. And him is Brandon Gwinner, the new quarterback. He just came from the Blue Stars in France. Before that, he was in Finland playing for the Porvoo Butchers for 2 years. So I know him well. He can throw. He can run. He can do everything the Mean Machines need him to do. They just have to let him do it. If they let him do it, they'll be fine. He's the type of guy that you can at any point in this game say, okay, Brandon, we need you to do this. And he will go out there and do it. Just let him cook. Now, on the other side, AIK, I think it's simple. I'm rooting for you guys. I mean, I'm supporting the team. You can't be little brother anymore. I think that's the only reason that AIK lost last week was that little brother syndrome. Like when the game got big, the moments got tough, they folded. In this game, don't let that happen. Relax a little bit. And you relax by not letting the Mean Machines relax. I think this is another game where you can play them close, but it's those small moments of, okay, they almost have it. Shucks. Just let them get away with a little bit. Don't do that. Don't let Big Brother breathe. Put your foot on his neck and make him tap out. If you're going to be the little brother that's annoying as hell, do that, but do it to completion. Don't let this team skate by with a close, almost loss. If you're going to win the game, do what it takes, make the big plays, and prove that you deserve to be more than a mid-level team in Super Serien. That's my take on it, and we'll go back to Juice. No, this way, to Juice. I'm sorry, but that interlude jams. We're in the fourth quarter now. Weekend picks, picking winners, not easy, but we tried anyways. You can see our picks available on Instagram at Pro Football Sweden, where you can make your comments. No need to flood the DMs, guys. So first game, Karlstad Crusaders versus Oslo Vikings. I'm obviously going with the Crusaders. They're just a better team. That's just too easy. Next game, Liverham Griffins versus Copenhagen Towers. I'm going with the Towers, but I could also be going with the Griffins. I believe these are like two very even teams. Excuse me. I believe these are two very even teams, but oh man, I have a timer. I was supposed to do this in 15 minutes, and
That was a 20-minute timer.
oh, I was sorry. I was supposed to do this in 20 minutes, and I did not do it in 20 minutes. That is my fault. I got comfortable. But start the timer again, and let's see how many minutes over I go. Go ahead. So we start the timer, and I'm just gonna pick up where I left off. The Lemon Griffins, Towers, it could be the same team. If they switch jerseys, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these two teams. Like they're very like similar to each other in that aspect. Ooh, my light went off. Well, damn it, my lights went out too. But I'm back. Like I said, these two teams could be switched jerseys. Wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Obviously, the players look different, but the both teams are decent, but not great, and they both have a lot of like issues they need to fix. I think it's going to be a really good game, really good matchup. I'm going with the Towers mostly because I think I like their uniforms better, and that's really the only reason. I think I like their uniforms better. I know I like their field better, and I know this game is going to be in Malmo with the Griffins, so we probably have like the sideways camera or something. I don't like that. So hope the Towers win. Last game, Stockholm Mean Machine versus AIK. I'm picking the Mean Machine. I'm rooting for AIK. I mean, I guess I'm rooting for both teams, but I believe the Stockholm Mean Machines are who we think they are. Now that they have a legit quarterback in place, they're going to right the ship and become the team that we always thought they were. I think AIK plays them well, but they're still a little brother. As long as you're little brother, it is what it is. And those are my picks and why. Back to Juice. That's it for this episode of Pro Football Sweden. Did we miss anything? I don't know because we're recording this separately. So from time, I just want to give a shout out to anyone who is the plug in getting post game stats. Hit me up. If you can get me those stats after the game, I'll read them live here. We'll actually make a segment and I'll just read stats so that we can have them because we're doing this show on Monday and the games are over on Sunday. Like there's Saturday games normally. I think all the games are Saturday this week. I don't know. I watch them on Sunday and then Monday, I'm ready to record, get this out there, but there's no stats. And then I check my Twitter on Friday, and they're like, "Oh, the stats are finally out." I'm like, "Come on, guys, we're already on to the next week." So if you know somebody, or you know somebody that knows somebody that can get me those stats, like right after the games, like email them to me, screenshot them to me, something, let me know. We'll work something out. And I'll read them live here on the show each week, no problem. So outside of that, good luck to all the teams this weekend, and we'll be back next week with more insights and opinions. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all social channels at Pro Football Sweden. See you next week.
Energy from Juice. Let's start with the negative on my side. I've seen in the Chiriso I-Core game way too many drop passes by receivers. Very disappointed to see that as a person who love to have the football in their hands. And for other quarterbacks who playing in this league, who's working really hard, going against very physical D lines, I mean, it's got to be tough to do all that work and see a receiver dropping a pass. Come on, baby. Receivers, step it up. Another negative, which is also kind of positive at the same time, is that we don't know who is number one. If you look at the facts of the matter, of course, there is a number one team. However, it's a bit positive because it's making the whole league more competitive and make the league seem more authentic and etc. You know, it's very competitive. I'll move on to some of the positive. Man, DK. I'm going to go with Purvis as well. I'm going to call you DK. Bro, you're balling. Um, Always things can be tweaked up, bro. 3 picks, and you're the reason why your team won the game. Your touchdown won the team. Your team, the game. I have two other positive. I mean, I'm just go back to Air Brew. Congrats to Air Brew. You know, we owe you guys an apology. But taking down the Crusaders, that Black Knight took down the Crusaders. Hey, keto, big kudos to you guys. Big kudos to you guys. Lastly, I want to say, man, Eddie Swedish quarterbacks such as Dick Vic and Lambert, man, you guys are playing very, very good. Very at a good level too, you know. And it was really good to see as well for Air Brew. I got to go back to this of Air Brew. Finally, receivers catching passes, and there was some touchdowns that was left out. I seen Baby Ulinas catching that thing over their shoulder was gone. They robbed you of a pick, and some people got robbed of PIs as well. But I'm gonna pause on that. I mean, that's a bit of the negative towards the referees in the TSL game. But yeah, quarterbacks, Swedish quarterbacks, you guys doing a really good job. Kukonstad, this also a blend. This is the last one I have right here. This is a blend of a positive and negative at the same time. Kukonstad has a chance to sneak in the playoffs because I believe they have 2 guaranteed wins on their schedule moving forward. And they might can sneak by what these other teams have in such a harder schedule, which Kukonstad is equally hard. I was kind of looking up to see, okay, how it plays out. They have 2 games as well that can be slightly tough for them to the cell. I mean, they can catch them slipping. Eller, Oslo. You know, I think that was going to be challenging for them, but Konstanz had a chance to get in the playoffs. But the negative side of it, you know, for the other teams, they may think, oh man, the South, man, that's not even a real conference. You know, you gotta look at it a different way. I mean, Konstanz is playing like a team that should be in the playoffs, and they beat a top tier team such as Stockholm. You call without a quarterback or not, or their best players, they didn't travel down. Hey, they still won the game. That's a fact of the matter. They won the game. So that's my energy right now, and we move on. My top performers, wow. So many ballers, so many great plays this past week. I'm going to try to stick more to the defense side of the ball, but I got to give credit to these offensive players without saying too much and being a hypocrite about what I want to say. Miles Richardson, amazing job. Dick Vic, doing a great job. Those 2 quarterbacks, I think they are leading their offense to the right direction. But let me stick more to the defense. DK, I already gave you your praises in the first quarter. I'm giving it to you now again in the second quarter, bro. 3 picks. You a dog in that last one off the ground. I think that was that last one off the ground. Crazy, but on the defense side of the ball, I gotta give more credit to the linebackers. I won't talk about any other performances. Okay, Vasey, you just popped into my head. You just couldn't get out of my head right there. But let me say to the defense side of the ball, but I want to speak specifically about the linebackers because we don't give you guys too much credit. But Matthias Eriksson, 12 tackles, probably more tackles than that. But man, this boy is an animal on the football field despite losing. I mean, he kept, him and the company of the defense kept the machine from Edaru running the ball to under 50 yards. I believe when I saw the stats. I got to get some love to Cole Brockwell. You know, we've been skipping over his name, but he's a thumper. He is also a reason why Icor was not able to be so successful in the company with a guy, number 44, Caesar. Caesar is a baller. I mean, you guys got 2 ballers in the linebacker position, and the way that Caesar's coming off the edge is ridiculous. He's getting to the backfield, and he has an art for this. I think he has a really, really, really good art for blitzing, going around and going inside and just timing it up to get in there. So I'm going to leave it at that. I got to stick to the defense side of the guys. There was one guy from Carlstadt who got a pick 6. I really don't know his number. It was kind of hard to see, but shout out to you. You know exactly who you are who got that pick 6. And Um, defense win championships, so keep balling for your defense. That's all I got for my top performers. Oslo Vikings versus Cossack Crusaders. I'm going to start off with Oslo Vikings. Keys of victories. What you guys need to do is come together, have your little talks. Y'all just had a bye week. Hopefully y'all done it then. If y'all didn't, might be a little bit too late. However, and tell yourselves, look, we are a playoff team, just like we were last year. We didn't have the best start last year, but we can finish strong and get into the playoffs and actually win a playoff game. The thing is, y'all have the players. Y'all have the tools. Y'all need to just utilize them. Any week is anyone's game. We seeing it right now. Carlstadt just came off a loss. I remember when Stockholm was in the same position, they kind of was in a little bit shaky. Let's see if you guys can hit Carlstadt while they're kind of low. Over to Carlstadt. Man, you guys definitely know that you guys shouldn't have lost that game. However, the team played better than you guys. Don't let it happen again. I don't think that you guys are so down on yourselves like, oh man, who are we? I don't think you guys got the mentality. You guys know the reality of what happened last week. Take that salty, bitter taste in your mouth from last week against Edinburgh and say that I'm not going to lose another game this year. We're not losing. We're not losing. I think it's this game right here is the battle of the mentality that you guys gonna have. How do you guys respond? Stockholm versus Edinburgh. No, moving on. Stockholm versus ICOR. We got another crosstown, in-town rivalry. ICOR's on the rise right now. They just got a bitter loss. Stockholm had a loss, and they need a rebound from this loss. Let's start off with ICOR. ICOR, you guys got to finish the game. I disagree to Purvis. You guys were not actually the better team than TSL. But you guys had an opportunity to prove that you guys were better. You guys were able to move the ball in a way. But my tips are this, though. I'm not going to talk bad about you guys. My tips are this. Put the ball in Josh Hicks' hands. Utilize him. Like you guys were throwing the bubble screens to him early in the game. Don't stop that. Keep that momentum going for you guys. Protect your quarterback. He's able to move around in the pocket a lot and get the ball to your playmakers. You guys have several playmakers. Shout out to number 9 or number 7 on the DN. The DN. I forgot to give him a shout out earlier today, but he's already gonna do his own thing. I can't say let him loose. However, main points is get the ball into your playmakers' hands. You guys have that. Defensively is the main thing that you guys gonna have to do. We all saw that they got a new quarterback in there, Brandon Gwinner. I know him really well. Don't slide in my DMs and ask me how to stop him. Unless you got some of that. Om du har 20 lax, jag kan hjälpa dig. Om du inte har 20 lax eller någonting sådär, I can't help you, sorry. But nah, jag bara skojar. Anyways though, fresh quarterback in, he may not know the playbook super well. I know that they're going to do their best to keep the game plan simple, probably, take advantage of that. You guys got an upper hand with the new player coming. So I had a little bit of technical difficulties. My computer got full, but Stockholm, you just gotta prove to everybody that Stockholm is not going downhill. You guys are only going up, and that you guys are the best team in the area. Tips for you guys: obviously, get the ball to all of your playmakers. You have Matt. You got 13. I love that boy swag a lot. On the field, all your receivers are dangerous enough to help you guys out. Keep the game plan simple for Brandon. Allow him to feel comfortable. Brandon, you probably gonna have to use your legs. I mean, shout out to you, man. Shouts out to you coming to Sweden. Um, welcome in, Brandon. Uh, Defensively for Stockholm, my tips is put your cornerbacks in cover two. These guys are now built to be deep because Ali Cole has playmakers on the team to expose your cornerbacks. Um, Let me go back to Ali Cole again a little bit. You guys run whip routes in the red zone. Back to Stockholm. Linebackers, I mean, defensively, I think your linebackers going to fly to the ball. Ultimately, Pillback is going to keep you guys prepared for this game. So there's no question for you guys as players to not know what to do. Pillback does a good job of keeping his other coaches systematically prepared to give you the tools to win the game. So open up your playbook because this game means so much for Icor. And I'm excited for this matchup already because the game was close last time. Moving on down south to that purple ring. I'm not going to give tips to any teams. Like any pointers from offense and defense, I just think you guys got to show who's going to be the best team in the South. I mean, sorry, not the best team in the South. However, who's the team in the South who doesn't want to finish last or don't want to be the laughing stock? I mean, this is the battle to make sure that you guys are not the last team. Right now, Limham, everyone feel like you guys trailing in the wrong end. So, what's it going to be? Copenhagen, you guys show promises that you guys can be a good football team. But then, in your own home, you allow another team to put up over 40 points against you guys. So, keep the score low. Do your best. I'm not even going to say what you guys can do both offensively, defensively. You guys going to have to figure that out on your own. Okay, fourth quarter. We're going with the Pick'ems. Cossack Crusaders versus Oslo Vikings. I'm going with Cossack Crusaders. I just believe that Cossack Crusaders has a complete team. They coming off a loss with a bitter loss. They haven't lost all season, and they didn't lose all last season. So, get their first loss, and I think they come in to show them. They come to show everybody that they should be at the top and they deserve to be at the top. Don't think that I don't think that Oslo is going to do what they need to do to win this game. Let's go to the purple, the next game. I think this is as Purvis said, I think this is a kind of balanced game. I still haven't really made up my mind who will win this game. Copenhagen kind of let me down with the momentum showing promising attributes that they are a good football team and that they could hang with other teams. But man, they got blown out. But let me say a little quick prayer and see what the Lord tells me. Copenhagen. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go with Limham Griffins. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not buying it this week. However, the Lord just told me on the other side. No, I'm kidding. Now I'm gonna gamble with you guys, Limham. So make sure that you guys pull this through for me because my record is not looking so good on the pickups, and the people are doing better than me. Last one, Stockholm Mean Machines versus Aikor. Aikor, don't look at me like that. I'm going with Stockholm Mean Machines. I think that they are the better team, complete team. I think that you guys can play it close. I just don't think that you guys are going to do what's necessary as well to win this game. I think that when it comes down to taking advantage of those little pieces, such as attacking the cornerbacks that I think for Stockholm is not very great, or getting the ball to Jock's Hicks enough times, getting the ball to the outside receiver, I forgot his name, Got to score more. I got to remember that name so I can remember your name. I just that's how I'm calling it. I just think that Stockholm's gonna win this game. Sorry. All right, you can skip to the last part. Overtime. I have nothing. Good luck to all the teams that's playing this week. Put up a lot of points. Get saucy like number 11 from Icor. I love that after that pick. And DK, give me another pick six. Peace out.